Welcome back from that short break. You are still watching Living It Up with me, Nema Diana. And of course, you are watching Spirit TV, a place for you. Well, it's been an amazing journey from the first episode. Madame Olivia Kisubika has been sharing her experience with, a deceased husband until where she is right now. And so we are continuing and we are giving you more. I mean, after death, what do you do? What happens? What are the grief processes? Madam, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
What are the stages of grieving now that you've lost your loved one? So after that, what happens to you as a widow with all these children, family members from his side, your side? So akabiyako.
I think it varies
from person to person,
yes. And also from age to age.
Yeah.
Because in my situation, we didn't have any dependent at home. Actually, it should have been a honeymoon period if he hadn't fallen sick, for traveling and what have you. But because he fell sick, then that one was. But imagine the people who have children, their situation is different, okay? Because, like I told you, bread Anna, and then you have to all that confusion that is there. But
so at that time, your kids were not at home. They're all
they are out after university, so we didn't have anybody at home. Okay, so they just even the last born just came back to help me take care of daddy. But it was okay. You know that the death occurs and then you are in denial, like you have that hope with God, you've worked miracles. You know, I think it's also a danger. Praying is also dangerous because you over pray and you over believe impossible prayers, and you keep on reminding yourself everything is possible with you. He can still stay alive. But in my situation, what hurt me most is I was there, I had prepared him for, like I said, if he's going to be a cabbage after this, no. Because that attack I saw it was even convulsing, and then I said, no. If it is the time, I soak him in your precious blood, all those prayers that you have. Then, and he was there, of course, on oxygen, and I said, are you the one breathing, or is it the oxygen breathing? But when I walked out to go and talk to his brother, just walking out of the room, of the curtain to go and talk to his brother, then to go and find food for him.
Yeah.
Or he goes and finds food for himself. He said, I'm not moving until I know what my brother is up to. Then I opened the curtain and I said, you're talking about this one? And he had stopped breathing. And it was 2 minutes.
Oh my God.
2. Now I was angry. I don't know angry with who, either angry with God or angry with him. I sat with him waiting for him to sail through.
I can only imagine. You bring
2 minutes. If it's long, it was 2 minutes, but I think it was even less. I was angry. And I remember I kept on crying, Orimba. John's Orimba, you should.
Preparing him for this, you knew somehow.
I knew somehow, and I'd accepted if
happen.
this time I don't want him to get out of hospital because I think he's not going to be. But when it occurred, it was shocking. So there is shock.
That is the first stage.
6 years in and out of hospitals. When it eventually occurred, I was in shock. I was in denial. Like, why?
Why me?
And not why me. Why didn't you do it when I was there? Because I was seated like this. Because we went at night, throughout the night, and then they admitted us early morning, very like 5 o'clock. So I was there. When the brother came in, I said, hello, how are you? I want to sit with him. I allowed him to sit with him. Then I told him, now it's my turn. Okay? Of course, I was saying my prayers, like saving him through. I have this beautiful prayer where I put them on, in my religion, I put them on Mother Mary's lap, and and I wanted to see him go. I didn't. So I think God does it in such a way that you're not there to do it. But I lived through the whole of that Sunday, Monday until we buried him. I said, should have done it when I was watching.
Because I've been there.
Because I've been there, like, it was really like what? Put a full stop, a big full stop onto the marriage vows? I don't know. I don't know why he wanted it, but because even now I cannot answer that question. But then I kept on saying, oh, Limba, Limba. And I was thumping everything. Remember, they don't allow you to cry on the ward, so you have to go into the washing area. Okay, that's where you mourn from. And my son was not around.
Now, for you, what is your experience at that time? You've gone
It's
to
your
the washing area.
Like I'm still I'm crying, but then I was also feeling lonely because I was the only one there. I had sent my son home to bring the items for the hospital, and I wasn't there. But I sort of became suspicious. I asked the nurses to change his clothes, and they kept on, we are coming, we are coming, we are coming. And I said, why bother with these? I went out to the desk and I asked them, is it okay if I call my A+ boys to come and help me change his clothes? They said, how am I? It's okay, mommy, you can do that. I said, your mommy A+, you call the boys. I called the boys, they came.
They already knew.
And the boys later on told me, we just dressed him. But we felt if he wasn't gone, he was a long way to go. Because I asked them, how is he? He will be fine. You don't have to panic. I remember one of them told me, you don't have to panic, he'll be fine. I sat with my sick person. And they just went down and just rang the run and said, Daddy Talibolonji. It's good they didn't tell me. Maybe I would have panicked. Maybe I would have done what I don't know. Maybe I would have talked to him, but I continued what I was doing, praying for him. And I believe, and this is one thing I believe, and I tell people, if you're given a chance of nursing somebody, continue praying and pray out loud, okay? Like they hear. But I read that somewhere, so I did it. I really did it.
With hopes that it will be okay.
Yes. And I'm very sure he sailed through. Why? Because you have to do all these prayers and he's hearing, okay? So as long as he's still breathing, as long as there's still life in him, your prayer, I believe, this is my opinion, your prayer can help him or can help them a long way. It doesn't matter who it is, can help them a long way. Okay?
So let's go to the stage of denial. The stage of denial where someone feels like, I don't think he's dead. I don't think, this
after all the crying and what have you, and then you said, okay, what next? But of course, they had already...
Voice. You still have his memories fresh.
And then you still have what is going to happen, who is going to do this, who is going to do that. Then that's when I came back and said, who is the brother? Because there were only two brothers. There were only two men. I said, where is the brother? That's when I remembered him. But I think it was 30 minutes later on, and he was nowhere to be seen. And then my son came in, and then, of course, but I'm very grateful to my son because he just held me and said, Mommy, cry. Because he won't be able to cry. And then another thing he promised me, I'll be there to look after you. But he's young. You remember he's young. And then you say that. But you feel that masculinity holding. You remember I said the hugs, they have a meaning. He said, he held me and said, I'll look after you. Now, when I went to look for the brother, he was broken. I think that brought me back to my senses because I had to comfort him. He was broken. And later on, when he died, when he passed on also a year later, I felt guilty for the brother passing on because everybody was comforting me, consoling me, but we all forgot about him. Okay? But he was also grieving. Okay? We didn't take him through the grieving period. I didn't because I was also being...
And everyone needs to be taken through.
Everybody needs to be, particularly those who have children, they need to be taken through individually. They have to be allowed to mourn. Even if I counseled somebody whose father passed on when the baby was 3 years old. I said, "Man, atategeera." But when I told them, you take the child to where you buried the father and go to the grave, and because he's now old enough, allow him to go to the grave. Let somebody from there, from the village, take him to the grave. Okay? And let him be. But you know, the lady told me when this boy walked into the sitting room, you know, the portrait, that's where the portrait was. He just stood, he smiled, and he was, you know, like he knew that person. But remember, he was 3 years old. So he said, you know what, Olivia, you're good at what you do. Because she saw her child going through that. Then he went to the graveside, and then he asked the person to him, it's okay, I'll be alone. And there were questions and answers and all that. Okay?
Yeah. Well, what I picked from Madam Olivia's conversation is allow yourself to grieve.
It's important.
It takes time. And for the few stages of grief that she has talked about, the shocking bit of it, the pain, the denial, I mean, all those things are going to happen to you where you lose a loved one. And so allow yourself to go through them gracefully, and also support the people that, you know, around you, your children and your people. Well, we are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube for those of you that are just joining us, and we are talking about widows, and you know, can you be able to date a widow again? Give us your feedback on there on Facebook, that is Spirit TV, and on YouTube, that is Spirit TV Uganda. I'll be glad to get back to you. And also, if you'd like to connect with me, my social media handles are going down on your screen. That is Nemadana everywhere. And of course, just to remind you that you are watching Living It Up, and we are all about inspiring you, motivating you, transforming your lives. And that is why we go an extra mile of bringing these guests that have experience in these particular topics that we bring to you, such that you can learn a thing or two. So, Mami, now let's go straight into the big thing. Why are you searching? So now you're back to the market.
Before you
what
say,
should someone know about dating a widow?
What should someone know? How long has she been grieving? Because I believe every person, the minimum length of grieving should be 1 year. Okay? Until, okay, that's what I give myself. That come next year, same date, I'll be okay. Then after that, I hit the shelf of Abanonia. But you can make it longer. You must have your reasons why. Okay? But before you hit Banonia, allow me, Diana, to tell the viewers that there's something that happens during grieving physically. There are things that happen to us physically that can make us
prolong the healing process.
Prolong the healing process, or even die. You can even die. One thing I ask dependents or the supporters, not dependents, the supporters, allow these people to cry. Crying is healing in itself. Like you release some of that tension. Then there's also pain. Pain is not only in
process also, you know, bring about the physical pain.
The physical pain, yes.
Okay.
The good thing, somebody just came in after burial and said, you know what, Olivia, I need to take you through this. You're going to feel physical pain. Yeah? And the Baganda have a name for it. It's called Chimenyo Menyo. Can you imagine learning something at the age of 59? Learning does not end. Chimenyo Menyo. Why? Because your body is broken. There's fatigue in your body. Remember, you're not working. Remember, you're not doing anything physically. Everybody, there are people attending to you, but your body is in pain. Have you ever done gym? Have you ever gone to the gym or gone running when you've taken a long time, and then the pains you feel the following day? That's what you have, the cramps. Okay? And it's called that. But it was so bad for me because there are times I failed to get off the bed. And I had to physically put this leg down, and then the other leg down, and then I get somebody to go. And I said, excuse me, I am sick. Am I sick? Then I asked a doctor friend, I said, I don't know about what happens about the adults, but I know the mothers, he's a gynecologist, said, I know the mothers, when they lose a child, the uterus has those pains. So connect with that, but avoid a lot of painkillers. It is really psychological. So apply all the counseling you can think of.
The rest you can.
The rest were. Then another person came in, prayer person, he's a born again person. He said, you know what, you have to pray. His thoughts will come in, the dreams will come in, you see him in your dreams, but you tell him, please go back. Now that is hard. Until I eventually chose to do it. Okay? And I pushed, as you know, I said, I buried you nicely, and I looked after you nicely, and I buried you nicely. Kindly rest in peace. Okay?
So you're talking to the deceased?
Yes. You know, like when you dream about somebody, you wake up, you said, no, you were dead. Okay? So you have to do that prayer. And then you soak him in the blood of Jesus, and then you sleep again.
Yeah, because I've heard about the thing that, you know, the spirit cannot mingle with the body. Like, the dead shouldn't be able to. The dead are dead.
The dead are dead. The dead are dead. And because I spent.
You know, there are people who feel good when the deceased people come back and they're like, he came back and visited me. We even had sex.
I was telling somebody.
I was telling
just a week ago. I was talking to somebody who was very proud that my friend keeps on coming to me and takes me out for a ride. They said he will take you to the grave. Let him be. So why am I telling these people not to cry for long? Let them be. Send them off because they hang on. Let them rest in peace. Because if they don't let them be, they hang on in there. They are between us and, to me, heaven. Okay? So you've got to release them. It is okay. Rest in peace. Yeah, I loved you and looked after you, but please rest in peace. Keep on asking them to. You don't tell them about your life. Let them go in peace. Let them go in peace. Okay? So, and they rest in peace. And I started healing.
You believe they hear you at that time?
Yes, they do. When it's still fresh, months, weeks, months, they still do. Okay? And because I took a long time in that healing, in that process of pain, grieving. At one of my friends came and said, why did you come back with a ring? Then I said, yeah, I remembered somebody told me to put the ring.
Your ring on?
He passed on in July. I put the ring in the grave in September.
Wow.
Because I was not healing. I was not healing until I removed the ring. So I don't know about the rings. Again, it is different. Some people move with their rings. But if I in our place, in our office, I tell the ladies kindly put the ring in the coffin. I advise them to put the ring in the like part of a send off. Put the ring in so that they don't go through the pain I went through. It was terrible. Okay, so you let them go. Now, how do you know?
To receive someone new in your life,
you have to take into consideration so many things.
But right now you're ready.
Right now I'm ready. Okay, and when you're ready, what does it mean? I'm ready to relocate from Buloba to wherever you want to take me. Okay?
Yeah.
Why is it that? Why is it that way? Because I don't expect any sane man to walk into my home in Buloba. Because that is my home and the late Chisubika's home, right? It is not right. And I also don't expect Olivia to walk into that, supposing he's also
a widow.
I don't expect him to take me to that home because that's the home for his late wife. So what am I saying? We get our private home.
So now what I see is you're searching for someone who is a widower.
I mean, it's the why would a man be unmarried up to 60 years?
You're right.
What age am I looking at anyway?
Tell us. The viewer, someone might be there looking at this beautiful young woman right here,
because
and they're interested.
You also have to bear in mind respect. What age should I get? It should be 60 to my age or above. Okay? But not 70. 70 will be very old. And I don't know. Preferably. 65. I still tell people conversation gap is 5 years. Conversation gap. So if I'm 62, our conversation gap would be up to 67, right? Yeah. So anybody in between there. After 62, but below 67. So why? Because that's the conversation gap. This is a time for loving each other, companion time,
time.
masape time. And that's why I was telling one of my priest friends that the person I'm searching for is, I want a Muganda man, I want a Catholic man, I want a
viewer.
I want a Catholic man, I want a rich man. Why? Because I want, a person who will give me a home, because I don't want to stay in this home and I don't want to go into his home. Okay, so we shall have a small, even if it's a canaria, it is okay. It is enough for us. And I don't want a man who eats luombo. Why? Because I don't want to cook. We want to go to piazzo, those things. We eat outside. That place is for emotions. It depends on how many years God will give us. It's for emotions. There's no time for ateka and fumbate. No, it is masape.
That's what you should expect when you're looking for Madame Olivia Kisuika.
No, but I think also
for the viewer who is watching, for sure, and you're interested in this wonderful lady, she will be giving us her number later on. And I know for sure you'll get in touch. But what I get from here is, after grieving, you should know whether you are ready to go back to the field to get someone. Getting this other person doesn't mean you're going to compare them to your deceased partner. It's more about getting a new person. You're not going to turn this person into the person that you lost. And if you're at that stage and you feel like you want to get the exact fit that looks like your deceased partner or looks like the person that you lost, then you're not yet healed. And two, if you're still hanging around with their pictures everywhere in your house, you're still holding on to their emotions and still fantasizing about your deceased partner, you are not ready to go back to the field to search for someone else. So make sure you've grieved enough, make sure you are healed, and make sure you are ready for new adventures with another person that God is bringing on your way.
But remember, there is the age issue. For example, the people who passed on in COVID, the shock will take not 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, because it is shock. People passing on in accidents, again, the shock takes long. And the people with children, with young ones, young widows, 20, those have the 30. Demands, their body demands. Don't let your body demands push you into something you're not ready for. Go for counseling, okay? So that you walk in when you've prepared your family and his family, that, you know what, guys, I have to move on. But when you're moving on, where are you taking the children? Yes. Remember, now they don't have a father. They don't have, now if you leave them, you don't have a mother.
I think someone should be able to accept you with your children the way you are.
They should. Really, that's why I say, if you just choose to date a widow, please move with the children and please be the father figure.
Yes.
Please be the father figure. And there are men who have done it. And I know of a man who moved in with 5 children and he took them from that home and put them in his home. And everybody, of course, his family members were saying, it's for a short time, and the children will go. Now the children are all out of university, and they are in their honeymoon.
Yeah.
Okay, so you choose, and if you choose the entire package, kindly take it. So if you choose to take Olivia Hart, the package is not so heavy.
Give them your number.
Give them my number?
Yes.
My number is, MTN line is 0772 635 295 and then 0704 153 217. And guys, the voice is very deep on phone. I don't want you to say that. I want to speak to Olivia. That is the voice God gave me. So it's me who answers my phones.
And they should come ready
to take me out of Buloba, not to come to Buloba. Yes.
Okay. So your last remarks to the widows that fear getting out of the grieving process, that fear the family members, the judgment from different people. Your last remarks, and then we can.
My last remarks to the widows out there, especially the young widows. Please, you have a life to live, and you lived your vows to that. That was the end. So prepare mentally, physically, emotionally to move on, and move on with respect. Do not hide yourself. Do not move around. Sit with your children and also prepare them mentally. okay, for the move on. Okay, and as you're searching, kindly remember to move with the children, because leaving them with somebody else is unfair. You're reading them of both parents, but it's not an easy thing for the young ones. For the old ones, I don't know about you. I know about me.
Thank you so much for coming through. It's been a pleasure having you.
You're
Talk
welcome,
about
Diana.
the widows, encourage them, take through all those stages. It's a pleasure.
They need to mourn.
Mm.
Okay, give themselves a chance to mourn.
Yeah. Well, that has been it for Living It Up, and I hope you have picked a leaf or two. Number one, we talked about the grieving stages, the pain, the shock, the denial, the bargaining bit of it, and you're blaming people, you're all sick and tired, and you're all depressed. All those things expect, and when they happen to you, just know they are part of your healing process. And now that you want to go back to the scene of searching, be honest with yourself. Am I ready to search? Am I ready to get someone else? And be honest with yourself. Am I really getting these people for the genuine reason that I need them in my life, not comparing them to my deceased partner? All of that is very important. And also, knowing that this person that I'm accepting into my life, is he going to accept me with my family, with my children? And also you should know that you're doing it for yourself, not for your family members, not for your in-laws, not for anyone else. And so the rest of the people shouldn't dictate what you should do, when you should go searching, and what you want in life. Well, that's it for today's episode, and I just want to thank the people that have stayed with us all the way from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Just, we are signing out, but I just want to let you know that American Collection Ladies Wear, Kamkamo Plaza, shop number FF49, are the people that have taken care of my look today, and that is why I look so lovely and stunning. You can always go there and get yourself any size ladies wear. They got your back. And also, Richard is coming through. Make sure to catch lots of urban gospel music with them. Lawson is coming and he's gonna give you fire, more fire. The youths don't miss. We are signing out until next Saturday, 3 to 4 p.m. Living It Up will be on your screen on Spirit TV. God bless you.